Buenos dias from Gracia. This is the Rorschach Spain update from the 15th of May, 2025. Quick summary of what's going down in Spain. Kickoff this week, President Pedro Sanchez found himself in some trouble after his WhatsApp messages from 2020 were leaked. Spanish news company El Mundo published the revealing messages on Sunday, the 11th, showing Sanchez using harsh language to describe his ministers and regional leaders, calling some hypocrites and a disgrace. He's also been caught making derogatory comments about current defense minister Margarita Robles and criticizing former ally Pablo Iglesias. Messages were found during a corruption investigation as part of the Coldo case, an ongoing corruption investigation involving former transport minister José Luis Ábalos and advisor Coldo Garcia, centers on fraudulent public contracts for purchasing masks during the COVID-19 pandemic. Over to Catalonia for some chemical calamity on Sunday the 10th. A chlorine fire at a swimming pool chemical factory in Vilanova i la Geltrú in the east triggered a regional emergency when chlorine was released into the sky as a toxic cloud. Blaze and subsequent cloud led authorities to put 6 towns under lockdown, including Vilanova i la Geltrú, Sant Pere de Ribes, Cubelles, Cunit, Calafell, and Central Roquetes. Residents were told to stay indoors, close windows and doors, and avoid using air conditioning systems. Fortunately, no injuries were reported as wind conditions pushed the toxic plume out to the sea fairly quickly. Next, on Tuesday the 13th, news outlet El Mundo revealed that the government plans to appeal to the Constitutional Court against the regional Aragonese government in the Northeast because they have refused to participate in the national redistribution of unaccompanied migrant minors. Country plans to relocate thousands of unaccompanied minors from crowded migrant centers across centers to other parts, but Aragon has declined to report the number of minors in its care, arguing the decree goes against its regional protocols. Aragon's government has accused the central government of picking favorites, particularly with its approach to Catalonia, which has been granted more control, though not completely, over its regional migration and immigration policies with minimum influence. Speaking of forced migration, according to a report published on Tuesday the 13th by the Environmental Justice Foundation, foreign overfishing in Senegal and its severely depleted fish stocks have contributed to a surge in irregular migration to Spain. The study found that around 50% of Senegal's fish stocks are in jeopardy, largely due to foreign-controlled vessels, most of which are Spanish and Chinese, engaging in illegal, destructive fishing practices. The document says that due to these practices, Senegalese fishermen are finding themselves without jobs, which has caused many to migrate to other places, including the Canary Islands, the southernmost region of Spain. The report particularly focuses on oversight of these foreign vessels, including Spain, calling for stricter regulations and accountability to prevent worsening economic and humanitarian issues in Senegal. On the subject of accountability, on Tuesday the 13th, Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, met with the associations representing the victims of Valencian floods that killed more than 200 people and left infrastructure very, very messed up. Close to her sessions in Brussels came long overdue after a sudden national blackout disrupted a planned protest by these groups during the European People's Party, or EPP, Congress between the 29th and 30th of April, allowing key figures like von der Leyen to avoid public confrontation during that party Congress. Now, with the spotlight back on, the victims' groups demanded that von der Leyen break her silence and publicly condemn the role of regional leaders, particularly Valencia's President Carlos Mazón of the Partido Popular and EPP's Spanish affiliate, for their failure to respond adequately to the fossil fuel-driven disaster. Since we mentioned the blackout, the government is investigating whether cybersecurity vulnerabilities at a small renewable energy producer contributed to the outage that took place 2 weeks ago, which plunged Spain and Portugal into darkness. Spanish National Cybersecurity Institute is also questioning dozens of energy firms about recent anomalies and security updates that could have led to the blackout. On Wednesday the 14th, Sara Agensen, third vice president and minister of ecological transition, ruled out cyber attack during the Congress of Deputies and stated that the problem started in substations in Granada in the south, Badajoz in the southwest, and in Sevilla. The causes are still unknown, and the committee investigating has been given 3 months to figure them out. Let's talk about the opposition party, Partido Popular, or PP. On Monday the 12th, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, leader, called for a national congress to reassess his party's ideological direction. Congress is set for the 5th and 6th of July and will debate the party's key issues, including its relationship with far-right party Vox, abortion, euthanasia, and surrogacy, and the PP's election model. The party has noted that it is currently ideologically split between moderates and the hardline faction led by Isabel Díaz Ayuso, president of the Community of Madrid. There's a new language agreement between France and Spain. On Tuesday the 13th, during a Congress session, the Spanish Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced it has agreed to make direct financial contributions to Catalan language schools in southern France through La Bressola, a cultural organization founded in Perpignan, France. They run a network of Catalan language immersion community schools, mostly in northern Catalonia or French Catalonia, an area which was once officially a part of Catalonia. Pro-independence party Esquerra Republicana de Catalunya called this decision historic, as the funding targets a network of 9 Catalan-speaking schools in France with over 1,000 students among them. In sports, the U.S. National Football League, or NFL, has officially announced its first ever regular season game of American football in Spain. Miami Dolphins will face the Washington Commanders on the 16th of November at Madrid's legendary Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. The Commanders, led by rising star quarterback Jaden Daniels, are drawing major attention after their surprising run of wins. Meanwhile, the Dolphins enter a pivotal season with the team facing major injury concerns. The decision to play in Spain adds the country to the growing list of international NFL venues, joining cities like London, Munich, and São Paulo. Keeping with sports, on Saturday the 10th, Barcelona won the Spanish La Liga title with a dazzling 4-3 victory over Real Madrid in the chaotic El Clásico. For context, El Clásico, huge deal and one of the most important football matches in Europe. It's widely watched across the country because it features Spain's 2 biggest clubs competing against each other. Win marked Barca's 4th victory over Madrid this season, having also beaten them in the Super Cup and Copa del Rey. Looking towards a capital news outlet, El Mundo published an article last week exposing a makeshift camp at Madrid's Terminal 4 at Madrid-Barajas Airport. Airport workers told the paper that around 500 homeless people spend each night sleeping there and say the situation has become unbearable and overwhelming. Aena, the company that operates Barajas and 46 other Spanish airports and some abroad, is pressuring those living in Terminal 4 to leave or relocate, and according to an updated article published by El Mundo on Wednesday the 14th, is blocking food supplies from churches and NGOs. El Mundo has suggested that many, like one casually employed man they spoke to, aren't jobless. They're just priced out of Madrid's rental market and forced to live at the airport. And finally, for the film buffs, on Saturday the 10th, a jury of 53 cultural and film journalists sat down to vote for the most relevant Spanish feature films from the last half-century. From a selection of just over 200, here are the highlights and how long they'll take to watch. Top spots went to Ivan Zulueta's 1980 Rapture, or Arrebato, about a drug-addicted director. Pedro Almodóvar's 1988 Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, or Mujeres al Bordo de un Ataque de Nervios, dark comedy, and Luis García Berlanga's 1978 film The National Shotgun, or La Escopeta Nacional. Full list is still pending, but get your vacation days ready, as news outlet El País predicts it'll take about 4 consecutive days. Watch them all. That's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's free. Help us grow and keep the updates coming. Hasta la próxima.